My name's Kayla Furbish, and I'm a member of the Health and Wellness team at Home Base, a partnership of the Red Sox Foundation and Massachusetts General Hospital. Today I'd like to share a brief yoga flow that can be used before bed to promote deep, restful sleep. So we'll begin in a seated position and bring the bottoms of our feet to touch, with our heels extended about arm's distance away from our hips. Take a deep inhale here, bringing your arms up into a T position, and on your exhale, side bend to the right, keeping both hip bones pressed firmly into your mat and keeping a puff of air underneath your right armpit so that you don't collapse into your side body, extending long from left hip out through left fingertips. Inhale, coming back through center, and exhale to side bend to the left, pressing both hip bones into the mat and reaching out long through your right arm. Maybe rotating your left lung forward ever so slightly to open up your chest. Inhale to come back to center, reaching arms up overhead. Exhale to fold forward, bringing your chest towards your heels and trying to keep your back long rather than rounding through your spine and bowing towards your toes. Bring your attention to your breath, breathing in and out through your nose if that's comfortable, and beginning to lengthen your breath cycle, gently elongating your inhales and exhales. On an inhale, roll back up to a seated position. Place your hands behind you and lift your hips up and closer towards your heels. Grabbing onto your feet or your ankles, take an inhale here to lengthen your spine and exhale to fold forward. Energetically drawing your chest towards your feet and keeping your spine long. Continuing to take long, deep breaths. On an inhale, begin to roll back up to a seated position. Cross your feet at the ankles and roll over your knees, coming to a neutral tabletop position, stacking your knees beneath your hips and your wrists beneath your shoulders. And here you can take any conscious movement that feels good for you. Maybe taking a few rounds of cat-cow, inhaling to extend through your spine and look up, exhaling to release your head and arch your back. Or maybe you take some C curves, exhaling to bring shoulder to hip and inhaling to come back to center. Or finally, an option to take hip circles here. Whatever option you choose, allow your breath to move you through this pose. And if you're taking hip circles, begin to circle in the other direction. Finding an ending for your movement, come back to a neutral tabletop position. On an inhale, step your right foot between your hands, coming into a low lunge. Option to place your hands on blocks so that you can lift the chest and broaden across your collarbones. Remain here for 5 to 7 breaths. On an exhale, send the hip back, straightening your right leg and bringing length to your hamstring. Remain here for 5 to 7 breaths. Keep your hips square and pointing towards the front of your mat. And maintain length in your spine rather than bowing over your knee. On an inhale, plant the hands on either side of the foot and step back to tabletop. Inhale to step your left foot forward between your hands and rise up to a low lunge. Option to bring the hands to blocks and lift the chest, broadening across collarbones. Engage Uddiyana Bandha, or abdominal lock, drawing your navel towards your spine and activating your core. On an exhale, send the left hip back, straightening your leg and lengthening your hamstring. Maintaining length in your spine while drawing your chest towards your knee. On an inhale, remove the blocks, plant the hands, and lift the hips up and back to downward facing dog. Press equal weight through hands and feet, allowing your head to hang heavy. And maybe pedal out your legs here, coming up high onto the toes of one foot while pressing the heel down of your opposite foot. Walk your right hand in towards the center of your mat, and on an inhale, step your right foot to the outside of your hands, coming to a lizard lunge. You can stay here, or option to release the back knee, and option to come down onto forearms. On an inhale, press yourself back up, lift the right foot, and bring it across your mat, coming down into pigeon pose. Inhale to extend through your spine, and exhale to bow forward. Bringing hands or elbows, or maybe even forehead to the mat. Allow yourself to let go and fully relax in this pose. On an inhale, press yourself back up, lift the right leg, and step back to downward facing dog. Pedal out your legs here for a few breaths. And when you're ready, walk your left hand in towards the center of your mat. Inhale and step your left leg to the outside of your hand. Option to stay here, or release the back knee, or come down onto forearms. On an inhale, press yourself back up, lift the left leg, and draw it across your mat, lowering into pigeon pose. Inhale to extend through your spine, exhale to bow forward. Continue taking long, deep breaths. And allow yourself to melt into this pose. On an inhale, press yourself back up, tuck your right toes under and step back to downward facing dog. Maybe pedal out your legs here a bit more. And when you're ready, walk your feet wide to the sides of your mat and walk your hands back into a wide-legged forward fold. Hands can be on the floor or option to bring hands to your feet, drawing the crown of your head down towards the floor. Allow your head to hang heavy and release any tension in your neck. Taking a few more breaths here. And when you're ready, placing the hands beneath the shoulders and heel toeing your feet back in towards your mat. Remain here in a forward fold, keeping a deep bend in your knees. You can grasp opposite elbows and sway from side to side, bending and straightening opposite knees. Or you can find stillness in this forward bend. When you're ready, release hands to ground, coming into a tabletop position, and exhale to sink your hips back towards your heels for child's pose. Arms can be extended out in front of you or by your sides, and forehead can come to the mat. On an inhale, lift back up to a tabletop position, tuck your toes under, and sit back on your heels for yogi toe stretch. Hands can be on your knees or hands can come together at heart center in Anjali Mudra or prayer pose. And when you're ready to come out of the pose, reach your hands in front of you to release your toes before sitting back on your breaths here, bringing your hips to one side and sweeping your legs out in front of you. From here, grabbing a block if you have one, and then rolling onto your back, keeping your feet planted on the floor and your knees bent. From here, we'll take a supported bridge. Inhale to lift your hips towards the ceiling, placing the block under your sacrum. Hands can be by your sides with palms facing up. Eyes may be closed in this pose. And use this time to bring your attention back to your breath, lengthening your inhalations and exhalations, releasing any lingering tension. On an inhale, lift your hips to remove the block, and exhale to lower to the floor. From here, we'll take an eagle leg twist. Cross right knee over left, and option to cross your legs again at the ankles. Inhale to lift your knees towards your chest, and exhale to release them towards the left side of the room. Arms can be at a T position, and gaze can be up at the ceiling, or, if you'd like a deeper twist, towards your right hand. Inhale to draw your knees back to center and release the bind in your legs. Taking the twist on the other side, cross left knee over right, and option to cross your legs again at the ankle. Inhale to lift your knee towards the ceiling. Exhale to release them towards the right side of the room. Arms are extended in a T position, and gaze is straight up at the ceiling, or for a deeper twist towards your left hand. On an inhale, lift knees to center, release the bind in your legs, hug knees to chest, and curl tightly into a ball. Exhale to release arms and legs to the floor, coming into Shavasana. Thank you for joining us today. If you have questions about our wellness services at Home Base, please reach out to us. Visit homebase.org/connect-to-care to learn more about our clinical services and how we can serve you. Please share our content with friends and family, and don't forget to follow us on social media @HomeBase Program.